gentlemen, the American Jury and Bulldog Nation, I hope you are having a wonderful weekend. I've already given you a full report about my Saturday with the Angels. The underboss of the Bulldog Mafia, Chuck Holbrook, yours truly, and my top two capos, Joe Rudder and Murdoch, are going to the Sharonville Convention Center gun show. It is my first gun show. I mean, I'm a complete newbie with this gun stuff, but I'm really getting into it. But I wanted to do a video on the way to the gun show to talk to you about the police and what is being asked of them right now. And it is beyond ridiculous. And for those of you that have never watched one of my videos or do not know me, remember, I have sued police officers, jail deputies, numerous times. My guess is, in my entire career, 50 times. And I would also tell you that every time I filed one of those lawsuits, I thought it was completely warranted that that police officer acted improperly and should be held responsible. At the same time, I've never broad-brushed police officers, ever. It's the same thing in medical malpractice cases. I have never broad-brushed doctors. In fact, 99% of doctors and 99% of police officers are good dudes. Remember, and ladies, remember, I only think about 10 to 20% of lawyers are good people. Just remember that. My profession is a despicable profession. The police profession and the medical profession are much more noble professions. It ought to be. The law ought to be a noble profession. But let me tell you something I found out about humanity in my police misconduct cases. I'll never forget taking the deposition of the police officer who shot Javon Mullins, this young man, down at on Fountain Square, and threw the gun back to where the body was. And it was pretty awful. And it was all captured by Fifth Third. And believe it or not, the courts dismissed that case. I was flabbergasted. But I want to say this about that police officer. When I deposed that police officer, you could tell he was genuinely feeling awful what happened. Awful. And I felt sorry for the guy. I deposed him. Then I've deposed people, and I wish I remembered this cop's name so I could shame him, who shot this big old cop, who shot a little black girl, Erica Collins, who had a knife, only a knife, to cut her sister's tires in a fight. Blew her away, the old double tap, bam, bam. Killed her. Didn't have to do it. Did not have to do it. And he was proud of himself. I mean, he was a despicable human being. But I have learned that each situation is different. Each police officer is different. Now, we all know that this George Floyd killer is obviously a despicable human being. You can't, I was thinking about this. We all know videos are everywhere. He knew this guy even knew he was being videotaped. It's almost like he's taunting. True story, you'll laugh. I'm afraid to pick my nose at a freaking red light thinking somebody might be freaking recording it and it's on freaking Facebook. I mean, let's face it, folks, there's video cameras everywhere. To keep his knee on George Floyd's neck like that was ridiculous. But then we have gone 180 degrees in the wrong direction. You know what? You have to be an irrational human being to not say to yourself, each situation is different based upon the freaking facts. Look what is going on in this country right now. And, you got at least half the country is okay with it. This is the question. What are police officers supposed to do? And you know what half the country is saying right now? They're saying to these police officers, don't arrest people for committing crimes. You gotta be nice to them. When you do arrest them, I don't know, don't handcuff them. Ask them to please get in the back of your cruiser. I mean, it is beyond ridiculous. Take all the grief, these protesters shouting in your face, spitting on you, throwing stuff at you, taking over your precinct. They want your precinct. You're supposed to let them take over your precinct. Defund the police departments, no police in communities. It's insanity. And half the police department, now you've even got all the corporate slaves. Hey, J.J. Watts, big, strong J.J. Watts comes out and says, oh, kneeling isn't about the national anthem in America, and you're not paying attention if you don't realize that. Screw you, J.J. Watt. I don't care how much money you gave to Houston and all the other things that you've done. You are a corporate slave, towing that line. Look at Drew Brees. Drew Brees tried to toe that line. Oh, Roger Goodell comes out. Roger Goodell says, we mistook that. Really? All right, big shot NFL corporate slave son of a bitches. You see what freaking happens. LeBron, big fat black privileged LeBron, rich black privileged LeBron. Let's see what happens when all of you son of a bitches kneel during the national anthem. You see what the other half of the country does when you do that. And try to claim, oh, no, this is all about how blacks are treated. This is all about blacks are treated. What a bunch of bullshit. It is disrespecting. You're kneeling in shame. I'm ashamed of the national anthem. And by the way, of all ironies, and I've been reading and studying history, my James Monroe biography and a documentary I watched yesterday both covered the writing of the national anthem. Francis Scott Key, how it all went down at Fort McHenry, his writing it, how he wrote it and everything else, that our flag was still standing there, a special made flag, 30 foot by 20 foot that they made for Fort McHenry that night, made by 7 women who were paid $500, a lot of money at the time, because Armistead, the guy who was guarding the fort, wanted a special American flag for the occasion. And he writes the poem down the next morning, and then he finishes the poem, and it gets published about the defense of Fort McHenry, is the title of it. They put it to a British drinking song, and the rest is history. And it became our national anthem as a vote of Congress in 1931. So you've got police officers out there defending us under that flag. Defending us under the flag. And that's coming from a guy who has sued cops, who's had my own brush ends with that arrogant jerk cops. Well, guess what? There's a bunch of asshole lawyers. There's a bunch of jerk plumbers, electricians from time to time, contractors, auto mechanics, doctors, accountants, you name them, to broad brush the police and have mobs and protesters and riots and expect the police officers to serve and protect. But they all get condemned. They all get condemned by a few jackwagons. And I want to tell you right now, that guy that got shot and killed in Atlanta, okay, he apparently resisted arrest, stole a taser, tried to tase. Now, they shouldn't have killed him. I don't think they should have shot him. But still, it's like, it's bedlam out there. And then when they burnt down a freaking Wendy's, are you kidding me? I told Chuck when he got in the truck today, I said, as an owner of a Wendy's, I would have shot them all. I would have shot them all. If I was at that Wendy's and those guys tried to burn down my window, I'd opened up fire. I would have killed them all trying to burn down my Wendy's. It's unbelievable. I mean, it is. And you know what? You know what's amazing? This is what's amazing to me. This isn't a fringe movement out there. Half the country is on their side. You and me, because I know the people on my team, remember, we're on our team, are watching this saying, I agree with you 100%. Do you believe half the freaking people in this country are on that team? Half. That's how scary it is. Let me tell you one thing before I go. The silver lining is, thank God we are lovers of our guns and our freedom, and we're badass and not a bunch of wussies. Because when it gets right down to it, really, Antifa versus us and the cops, I'm glad I'm on this team. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. I'm really fired up right now.